I saw a couple of people, exactly one couple of people, on my previous video about the designs of the VeggieTales and House characters point out the fact that the women have clothes and the men don't. And, I think it's a good thing to point out these, societal patterns when it comes to, how we design male versus female characters. And I don't think that the show is above that, but I wanted to kind of discuss that further. I think it's important to remember that the show was conceived in the early 90s. For reference, the show was 1993, Toy Story was 1995. And so, they wanted to make the characters as easy to work with as possible back in that era. And of course, since vegetables don't need clothes, they're not going to put the vegetables in clothes unless the specific story calls for it. My question to you is, what counts as naked, right? Because here we have Junior's parents, we have his mom and his dad, and they're both just wearing, neck accessories, right? Junior's dad has a tie and his mom has, a pearl necklace, and it's does that count as clothed? Here we have them in an episode from 2012 when the animation was a lot more involved, and they are both wearing much more clothing. You know what I mean? You also have to consider that it's kind of hard to put clothing on characters that don't have much of a torso, right? We never see the peas wear clothes. I'm pretty confident about that one. And the shorter, rounder vegetables, they can wear shirts, and in the later episodes they do, but if they don't have to wear a shirt, they're not going to wear a shirt. You know what I mean? Had this episode come out in the 90s, then Bob would have just been wearing the tie, right? But here, you can't really see it, but he does have, a button up on. It's not just the collar. So then if we go back to this, it's yes, the women all do wear clothes of some kind, but it's not like all the men are just unclothed, right? Terrible image, but you can still see that Archibald, Ickabeezer, and Mr. Lunch are wearing shirts. Most likely to help their designs stick out a little better, especially when most of the cast is green, right? And so that's why I think Petunia wears a dress. It could be partly sexism because you've never seen her without clothes on, because by the time that she was conceived, the animation was involved enough that the characters could be animated with clothing. And so of course she was, and it's kind of weird to introduce a character with clothes and then proceed to take them off, so they just never do that. But in the show, Madame Blueberry has a very posh, ladylike personality, so it makes sense that she would, want to dress up. And I believe Laura had this cutesy personality to her, and so of course that would translate to her wearing this frilly little dress. As you can see, earlier on, she didn't wear clothes. I don't think she got a proper outfit until 2005. That happens with a lot of these characters where, Junior in the 2010s his design was upgraded so that he wears a polo shirt. Another character I want to point out is Mr. Nezzer. Mr. Nezzer is always clothed, and there's actually one episode I can think of where he isn't, and it looks wrong, and I hate it. Mr. Nezzer should never be naked. But I definitely understand the frustration of male characters getting to have more diverse and interesting character designs, and the women just kind of get thrown in whatever. But yeah, that's my take on this.